Hi everyone, this is Roman from Tangent Team, and today I joined by a special guest, Korhan from Voyager Growth. Korhan, please introduce yourself.
Hello, Roman. Firstly, thanks for having me. So let me just introduce myself. So I am Korhan Cabalar. So I was working as a head of growth in Ruby Games almost 2.5 years. So I was managing user acquisition, creative and monetization processes there. And actually, 4 months ago, I left Ruby Games and I basically established my own growth company, which is called Voyager Growth. In Voyager Growth, basically, like many game companies now just looking for self-publishing opportunities in the market. So basically, so I kind of established a partnership with them and make them ready for their self-publishing within 6 months. So if they are financially with available for the self-publishing, so we do that. If they are not financially ready for self-publishing, I basically provide a publishing service for them, but it's kind of different than like usual publishing service. So I just kind of become their partner and provide mentorship with them. So this is my journey over 4 months at the
Yeah,
moment.
I also see like more and more hyper-casual developers starting to self-publish now.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, more and more turning into hybrid genres or a hybrid like type of monetization. And this is why we actually developed this report. We'll basically do a short overview of the report and pick Korhan's brain about it. So usually the question, like we have like plenty of insights in the report itself. I'll just briefly like scroll through it so you guys can see it. But most popular questions that I hear, like what is the best channel to advertise? Hyper casual or a hybrid casual game? And today we'll talk if their strategy is going to be different depending on what type of the game they're running. To answer this question, like, of course, you need to decide what is your main metric. So, for example, if I know that for me, they sell an ad LTV is a most important one. So based on our data in 2022, the highest average LTV was Iron Source. And not surprisingly for me on iOS, that was Apple Search Ads. Even though not a lot of hyper casual developers are running with Apple Search Ads. And same for the hybrid casual games, right? So this time we have they sell an in-app purchase OTV. Again, iOS, Apple Search Ads, Android, Meta. Yeah, and we have like more metrics like this in a different breakdowns, like countries. So basically, I'll leave the link for the report in the description, so you could like check it out. But yeah, back to you, Korhan. What surprised you the most about this report?
Yeah, I checked the reports and like I realized that I'm actually surprised that number of IAPs increased by 34%, which is
Yeah,
quite surprising for me, like due to recession in US, I would expect I would expect decrease in IAPs. And also I think this is a good indicator that, like strong indicator that why many game companies should go for hybrid casual games. At the end of the day, if IAPs are more strong, which means that like they will be a easier process transition for them to get into hybrid casual games. So yeah, this is a really good indicator. I would expect that like increase in 2023 for in terms of IAP as well. So the game companies now should kind of establish kind of like growth strategy, how to kind of balance this ad revenue and IAP revenue in their games, and this is a kind of tricky point for them as well.
yeah, I agree. Like, and what I've seen also is like in the past hyper casual, like okay, maybe they tried to do a bit of IAP, but they didn't take it seriously. But now with ad revenue like going down and eCPMs going down, like just look at this,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Android, right? Makes a
yeah.
lot of sense.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you need to balance this situation to, like to sustain profitability at the end of the day. So, like you need to kind of put balance between them. And IAP is, like with IAP, the increase in IAP revenue, in revenue share in your monetization structure, that will mean that you would go for blended ROAS campaigns, like which is basically aiming for both ad revenue and IAP revenue, which means that you will be able to scale more in terms of spend, you know. This is a really good indicator for the
I
games.
see. And talking about like scaling, like if I'm running a hyper casual like studio
Yeah.
right now, what channel like would you recommend for me to use?
Yeah, like for me, if you have a, like main aim to in hyper casual games to get low CPI with the good retention, right? But the
Mm,
CPI is kind of more focused on the hyper casual games. So if you have a really low CPI, that means that you would go for TikTok in the first stage. You would scale
mm-hmm.
a lot. And like also this is a good opportunity for games to get into top 100 in the first stage with TikTok, and sometimes Meta, but TikTok is I guess better at the situation. And then you need to kind of support this UA spend with like SDK networks, performance networks such as Applovin, Iron Source, Unity, Integral, and so on. So also, from in terms of SDK networks, it depends which mediation do you use. You know what I mean? Like if you use Applovin Max mediation, so like organically you would do your scaling on Applovin campaigns and so on. So TikTok, Applovin, and Integral is really good, and sometimes Iron Source and Unity. Like depends on your game. It depends on your metrics. But TikTok and Applovin, I think, is the best in my case.
Gotcha. But what if I like decided to turn into hybrid game? Like, would my UA channel change like drastically?
Like first thing, yeah, that you want to do if you just get into a hybrid casual game, so you will change your campaign structure in this like as I mentioned earlier. So if you have a revenue from advertising plus IAP, so you will start with the AdWords campaigns at the first stage. If you have a really strong IAP, that means that you would go for blended ROAS campaigns, like both focusing on IAP and ad revenue. And there are many channels in the market that you can advertise. Uh, like they are kind of saying that they provide like positive ROI, which is the main concern for the growth managers. So as long as like you have a positive ROI, you can kind of like you can kind of launch these games in any platform unless they are not fraud. You know what I mean? And another option would be compared to like hyper casual games would be Apple search ads. So with hyper casual games, like it's less likely that you're gonna spend on Apple search ads, but with hyper casual games, maybe you can just find an opportunity to spend on Apple search ads as well.
Right. Talking about blended ROI campaigns, is it like supported by all channels now, or is it only selected ones?
Uh, Actually, I think it's supported by Unity and Applovin. I'm not sure about on open source, but kind of you need to use their mediation to kind of, especially to support ad revenue, ad ROAS campaigns and so on. Yeah.
Got it.
Depends on which mediation do you use. So you need to kind of establish your campaign structure, and it is important, which mediation do you use. Yeah.
That's a good tip, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is the most like common mistakes that developers make when they transition from hyper to hybrid?
Actually, at the moment, like I'm working with many studios, so I see approximately 10 to 15 game tests within a week. So I see
Mm,
many mistakes, and false impressions from studios, that we really discuss and change these wrong approaches with studios. Look, like these many studios just was working on hyper casual games, but at the moment they are transitioning to the hybrid casual games. In the old days with hyper casual games, like with the low CPI, even you will get your money back within 4 days, sometimes even within 2 days back. But
Right.
things have changed now, that like you would get your money back maybe sometimes within 15 days, 30 days, 45 days. So they basically focus on just CPI, but now they need
Mm.
to certainly go for the retention as well. So like even like another mistake that do, they basically test their games and they look for the CPI. If it's a little bit higher than usual, they say we're gonna kill the game. But this is hybrid casual, that like if you have a good retention, like really high retention on the day 7, day 10, day 14, day 30, you would cover the high CPI as well. Like this is the thing that they need to kind of consider. Like they need to check CPI, retention, playtime. What is the percentage between like ad revenue and IRP revenue? All these things that they need to evaluate before deciding just we're gonna kill this game or we're gonna just focus on this game. And also, like given that like for instance they do idle arcade and so on, they put IAP, but another mistake they do, they put too many interstitial within this game.
Mm.
So the aim is here just to get the good retention to be sustainable, to sustain strong growth over time. So that means that you need to just kind of adjust this time between interstitials. Like you don't need to put too many interstitial within first days, but rather than just focus on the long-term return, given that this is hybrid casual, you need to change your strategy. And another thing that like many game companies just, I guess, underestimate the creative strategy. I think like one of the most crucial aspects in the game industry is creative. Like with professional creative guys, you can change a lot of things. You can change your profitability and everything, and you shouldn't underestimate the creatives, or you need to kind of assign professional guy. If you are a developer, like you shouldn't do your creative by yourself. You need to hire someone to just manage this process professionally.
Do you think it makes sense to go like to third parties, or this is usually better when someone in-house is doing it?
I mean, depends on, like there are some like creative artists that in the industry that like it's hard to hire them due to this kind of cost wise, you know what I mean? You
Mm-hmm.
work them, like as a freelance, and some if you find a really good talent, you would get into this
Mm-hmm.
in-house structure at the end of the day. It depends. As
Yes,
long as
yeah.
it's working, this process working doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Got it. But all in all, it seems like the whole like game is getting like harder in terms of like publishing the games. Would you say that?
Yeah, like market is kind of saturated. Like there are many like discussion in the market that hyper casual is gonna die, is dying, and so on. I think it's evolving. Everything is evolving.
Right.
You just need to adjust yourself strategically how you're gonna focus on. Like there are many publishers now working on uh hybrid puzzle games, which is, I think, logical. Like if I would have a
Mm-hmm.
company, I will go for definitely hybrid puzzle games. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you get a income from these games, like you will basically sustain growth like more than 3 years with a good game. And with hyper casual, hybrid casual game, depends on the genre and game type and the metrics, but I don't want to like talk about certain about it. But like you don't get really good income, like sustainable income. Like they kind of go soaring and then just go off within 3 months and so on. If you need sustainable growth, you need to go for like puzzle, I guess, in my opinion.
Like from the top of your head, how long does it take to make like this sort of hybrid puzzle game?
Yeah, it actually depends on the game. So there are some games that look so simple, but the gameplay and the like deeper journey within this game is harder to make. You know, you need to calculate lots of uh, economic stuff like inflations. You know, it's a kind of product wise
Yeah,
approach. You know, like, and another thing that also studios underestimate product sides. You know, like you need to have a really good product manager to kind of manage this process within this game, and it's important, and it's the most important thing that support foster you know, like retention, like long-term retention.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Cool. Like, thanks a lot, Korhan. That was super insightful. I
thanks to
just
you. Thanks
no,
to you.
no. But no worries. I mean, well, I'll leave the link in the description of the video. If you have questions for Korhan, you can leave your question in the comments. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course, give us a thumb up.
yeah,
Mhm.
anytime. So I am here to help in any question. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I'll leave the link to Voyager Growth in the description to the video too, so you can reach out to him directly. All right, then thanks a lot for watching. Happy hyper or hybrid growth.
Thank you so much. Bye.